guys, today I'm going to do a little review on the Lone Wolf pocket arm. It's a camera arm and it's supposed to be super lightweight, easy to pack in, and also be pretty sturdy for its size. So last year I used a 4th Arrow camera arms. It was a stiff arm, and they've come out with new stuff since then, but it was a pretty bulky base, and then you would slide the arm into the base. Once you got the camera arm set up, it was a great camera arm, super stable. You could pan in and out without the arm vibrating or moving too bad. But I wanted to give this a try this year, so that's kind of what I'm going to be comparing it against. They're competing this year because 4th Arrow came out with a pretty lightweight one as well, but it's still a 2-piece system, and I wanted to give Lone Wolf a try, so we'll get into it. Go ahead and open this up without making too much of a mess. And this is Lone Wolf custom gear, not Lone Wolf, which I guess Lone Wolf doesn't even exist anymore. They changed the name of that brand. Here's my order sheet. And that's it, guys. There's no base or anything. It's all right there. Came with a pretty cool sticker. So everything was right there. I mean, that's pretty simple. I'm not going to put that in my pocket. It's still a little bit big for your pocket, I mean, if you look at it, but it's definitely going to fit really nicely in my pack. A lot lighter than the 4th Arrow, and obviously a lot more slim. You can look at it from the side too. It's crazy slim, but it also feels really sturdy at the same time. So we'll go over how to use it. I'll get on a tree or next to one and kind of show you what kind of range we're going to have, because that's the only thing with this small stuff that worries me, is if I put it on my right side, I'm a right-handed shooter, if I'm going to have enough room for it to work around to get a shot over this way. So it's got to be able to reach around my body, and if it can't, then I'm going to have to set it closer to my side, which could be a little bit more uncomfortable and give me a little bit less range. So that's the only thing I kind of see being an issue, but we'll go ahead and look at that on a tree. Okay, I've got the camera and I've got my fluid head on it right now, and I'm going to go ahead and strap it to the tree. So I'll let y'all get up closer and get a little better look at how this system works. Super simple. The bracket is built into the arm, so like I said, it's all one piece. You take this, it's got a loop on it, you wrap it around the tree, you put it on this hook right here. Pretty similar to, if you've ever had a Lone Wolf tree stand, pretty similar. You pull it, get the slack out, make sure your strap is even with this buckle. You don't want it to be lower or higher than it. Pull it, get it somewhat tight, and then once you get it somewhat tight, it doesn't have to be completely tight because this is your tensioner screw right here. You've got a bubble level on there too, so try and get it level before you start tensioning it. Now I've got it somewhat level. I'm going to keep pressing against it until it's solid and that bubble is centered. See, that's relatively centered. Get a few more twists to get it completely tensioned. Alright, now it's pretty tight right now. Trying to see how much movement we got in it. It's actually really pretty solid, especially for this one-piece system. I can see how much room I've got. I'm right-handed, so when I shoot, naturally I'm going to set myself up to shoot to my left. The question I had about this, because it's a compact arm, it's pretty small, and I was kind of worried about whether or not, if I've got something coming into my left, whether or not I can get a straight shot. So it looks like it's going to wrap around the camera, the arm, none of it's going to be in my string path, and I'm going to be able to shoot and still be able to get a good field of view anywhere to my left. That was the main thing I'm worried about. It's really hard to tell how long it's going to be when you're just looking at specs. You're looking at the joints, you don't know if it's really going to reach, and it does reach pretty good, so I'm not going to have any issues with that, I don't think. I think it is probably a little bit more flexible than the 4th Arrow one I was talking about. Maybe I don't have it cranked down tight enough. This is the first time I've set it up, actually, so a little bit of vibration, but not bad. It's still pretty solid with the camera arm and everything on there. It stays pretty still, actually. What I'll go ahead and do is I'll put my camera on this arm and then I'll just pan around a little bit and let y'all see what kind of movement you're getting out of it. It's hard to tell without the camera on there, so maybe the added weight will help as well. But it's definitely way easier to set up, super quick to set up, way better than any of the two-piece systems out there. And I really think I'm gonna like it just for the, I mean, y'all saw me set it up. I bet it only took 20-30 seconds. It didn't take long at all. I'm not packing out around a whole bunch of weight. You don't have the base clinking into the arm. It's very quiet. So they've got plastic washers on all the joints, so you can move it as much as you want. It's not gonna squeak. You don't have metal on metal like a lot of brands, so I do like that. And as far as the fluid head I'm using, this is a Benro S2. I think it's like $80 on Amazon. I had the $50 one off Amazon. It was twice the size, twice as heavy, and it was just too big. It wasn't practical. The whole reason I got this arm was to be lightweight and mobile, and that camera arm, or the fluid head that I had, just completely negated all the benefits that I have with this camera arm. So I really like this Benro S2. It's one of the lightest ones you can find. It's under $100. I mean, that might sound a little bit steep, but you'd rather buy something solid. You're gonna have an expensive camera on top of it, and you want your video to be somewhat smooth. So thank you guys for watching. I'll make sure at the end of this video we've got a little bit of action with the camera on the arm, and you can see it moving around. So thanks. Alright guys, as I promised, I'm moving the arm right now, giving you all a look of what moving the camera arm looks like. I'm not touching the fluid head. This is just the joints. They move decently smooth. You're not going to be wanting to move the joints to get, you know, your final focus. You want to get this set up pretty early on. So I get in the stand, I set up the spot I'm going to hunt over. This is me moving the joints, and then you go to your fluid head, and this is where you're going to, you know, settle in for your final location of anything. If the deer is moving or anything like that, you should be able to just get it with your fluid head, which is going to be a lot smoother than moving the arm. So this is the fluid head right here. Like I said, $80 fluid head. I think it's doing a pretty good job. I'll drop a link in the description for that kind of stuff. I'll hop out in the front and just kind of give you some final thoughts on this camera arm. Kind of what I think as far as this camera arm goes to what I used last year. Way lighter, way easier to use, more compact. It's going to take less space in your bag, and it's just, I mean, it's just easier to throw up. So those are the advantages over the Fourth Arrow or a lot of those heavy camera arms. The disadvantages, the only disadvantage I'm really seeing is it's not quite as solid, which is expected. It's a fraction of the weight. The mounting system's one piece, super simple. So yeah, it's kind of understandable that it's not going to be as solid, as rigid as something like a Fourth Arrow. But to me, it really just depends on what you're going to be doing. I'm a mobile guy. Last year I hunted over 30 different spots, constantly tearing down my setup, throwing it back up on a different spot, 3 or 4 different private properties, and then a couple public land hunts. And so I've got to be mobile, and the best camera arm for me is the one that I'm going to take. And it got to the point where I wasn't taking that Fourth Arrow anymore because it was loud. You had the camera arm and the actual base, 2 separate things in your pack, and if you didn't have them separated somehow, they clanged against each other. You had 2 ratchet straps on it that would clang against each other. When you set it up, you've got that loud click. You know, on a quiet day in the woods, everybody knows that ratchet strap is crazy loud. That's why Lone Wolf has done so well with their, you know, their loop system. You put the loop over the bolt, tighten it. There's no ratcheting. It's way quicker and quieter. So I would say the main advantage is just how simple and compact it is. If you're going to be hunting like 1 or 2 spots tops and you want a really solid professional look, then maybe you do go with something heavier like the Fourth Arrow, and you set that base up, and then you just bring your camera arm and camera, and then you slide your camera arm into it. That's the only place that Fourth Arrow really has an advantage over the Lone Wolf. Everything else, I give the edge to this. I'd say if the Lone Wolf is, you know, probably 85% stable compared to if you were to say the Fourth Arrow was 100%. I mean, it's a little bit of a trade-off. To me, it's worth it. It gets to the point where you're taking something that's so heavy, you get sick of it, you want to go for a quick evening hunt, you don't even take the camera arm. That's what happened to me last year. I shot a really nice buck. I had worked out at the gym. I ended up having plans canceled that evening. I was like, well, I got time to go hunting, so I went hunting that evening, but I didn't want to take my camera arm out. It's like, I'll just run out, go light, not take my camera arm. Just took my GoPro, ended up shooting my personal best buck with my longbow, and I filmed it with a GoPro, which I'm stoked I got on video. Y'all should watch it, but it would have been really nice to have that on a high quality camera setup with a DSLR on the camera arm. So I don't see myself leaving this one in the truck at all because it's so light, so easy to throw up. It really makes life a lot easier. And I'll drop a link for the camera arm and the fluid head, and even the camera and the shotgun mic that I'm running. I'm running a Canon DSLR. It's a Rebel T6i. It's got Wi-Fi on it. It's a great camera, and I don't have much money in it. I think my whole setup, I've got $800 in for the camera and the shotgun mic and the actual camera arm. So, I mean, you've got really high quality video for, you know, a really good price. And then after you put an animal on the ground, you've got the ability to take really high quality photos with the DSLR. That's why I went that route. It might not be as user-friendly and as simple as something like a Handycam or a Vixia, one of the higher-end camcorders. But if you take the little bit of time to learn how to use one of these things, I think it's worth it, and I think you'll really enjoy that. So drop down in the description. You'll find a link for all these different things. Check them out. I don't think you're going to dislike any of these products, from the camera arm all the way up to the shotgun mic. Everything I'm running, it's a really good setup. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a video review on the new .5 stand that Lone Wolf Custom Gear dropped. I've got that coming in the mail, and some of their compact climbing sticks. So I'm really excited to try those out. This is part of my mobile setup, so I'm going to be running, you know, a really lightweight running gun type setup this year. I'll also have a 1-year review after I've used it for a full year, you know, to kind of see not just an initial thought like this camera arm is, but how it holds up when it's being packed in, packed out in the back of my truck driving on bumpy roads. So just stay tuned, and I'll try and make sure that y'all have got plenty of videos. Thank y'all guys for watching Serviceside. Check out our Hunt Club if you're not a member already. It's got a ton of resources for you, from knowledge to partnerships with companies where you can get discounts to use some awesome gear like this camera arm. Anyways, I've got to go, so thank you guys for watching.